This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, hello, everybody. I'm Alex, and this is, of course, the Ramble. We go until midnight tonight in New York, New York. And here we go. Yes, and we are, let's see here. I think we're out of sync, right? Well, the only way we're going to get into sync. See, what happens is when I run Zoom and I talk to you on my regular camera, for some reason, it's out of sync. It's not out of stink as much as it normally is tonight, but still, it's there, and no, it's okay. It's all right now. But it's vexing me, and I haven't figured out how to fix it. The best way to fix it probably is for me to go back to Skype, but I'm not going to do that. So we'll just put up with it, okay? We'll just live with it if we can, and whatever. Anyway, it is that time of the month where I get my period, or as it's better known, our good friend Phil Meyer. Hello, Phil. How are you? Wait a minute. Let me just. There we go. There you go. That's you. Let me get my arrow out of there. My cursor. Hello. Can you hear me? Oh no. Now he has no audio this week. Okay.
Now I hear.
Now you're okay.
Yeah, is it creating that?
No problem. No problem.
All right.
You know, but you're worse than Jeff when it comes to
it seems as though when I first check in, however my Zoom is set up, it's not so good.
Yeah.
When I do set up my board, I'm going to have the guy redo my Zoom.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
yeah.
That's okay. Yeah.
Get it going straight.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm okay. You know, I just got my blood test back from my doctor, and he says he wants me to have another blood test in 2 or 3 weeks.
Did he say anything about staying away from garlic and not going out during the day and letting the sun hit?
Right. But anyway, it just gets me. You know, I mean, I don't want. I know I have some things that are a little high or a little low or whatever, but leave me alone. All right. 2 to 3 weeks. Let's do it again. Right.
Yeah.
He wants to see if anything changes.
Well, I mean, it's expensive to be a doctor in New York.
I mean, well, and then what happens is if he thinks, you may have something like lymphoma or something like that, all right? Let's say that's the worst possible thing. He'll send you to another doctor.
Well, that doctor
and you get into this doctor mill. And I was talking to Debbie Durst about it today.
Yeah, how's Will?
Will's he had a little problem yesterday where he wound up back in the emergency room, but
really?
He's out of it and it's okay. It's
fine. Did he come home?
No, he hasn't been home in 2 years almost.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the emergency room trip was from the.
It's something to do with his kid. It turned out to be something with his kidney or something, but he felt very weak and I don't know. But he's back in the nursing home, so that's good news.
Yeah.
All right. The other thing was that there's one other thing I want to tell. Oh yeah, I got to tell you, Jack didn't do a show last night. Last night I come in here at 1:00 to post the show, and I noticed he didn't run a show.
Why is that?
And I'm going. Usually calls me and tells me, so I write him this nasty note saying, "At least you could tell me." And he writes me back, "I'm in the hospital again."
Oh, now you feel good.
So then I felt like a piece of shit, okay?
Right.
And I wrote him and apologized profusely, and he said that he fell down again.
Wow.
Had another fall. This is the third one in 3 months or something?
Yeah.
So they're keeping him over. They kept him overnight, and then they were going to do an MRI with him today, and it was taking forever for them to do the MRI, and yada, yada, yada. It just so he will not be doing a show tonight.
So what you're saying is that the Gabnet staff is falling apart.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm having slight pee problems here too. It's like
Well, don't do it now.
no. I've been taking those pee pills, and I think maybe they're affecting my.
What is it, like Tamulocin or something?
Yeah, yeah.
I
But-
take that too.
Yeah, but I'm getting a little bit, not a sting, but kind of a little bit of a bite when I pee, and I'm wondering if that has to do with the Tamulocin.
Could have been from the happy ending you got at the
No.
massage.
But anyway, so I don't know. It's one thing or another. I often said, never. What was my latest saying? As you get older, you begin to realize you should never overestimate a good fuck or underestimate a good pee.
Yeah. Right now, I'm always happy with a good pee.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, have you been watching the news at all?
No, I haven't been watching the news. I've been avoiding the news like it was the plague, which it kind of is.
Yeah. Well, I got a feeling, regardless of the way things go in Wisconsin, that there's going to be some riots in the next day or two. There's a case going on with this kid who Rittenhouse,
Yeah.
right? He inserted himself into a protest. Says that he was there for positive purposes, but basically he didn't need to be there.
Well, you come across state lines with a rifle. I think maybe.
No, that's wrong.
What?
What they proved was that the rifle was always in Wisconsin.
Oh,
That
okay.
the rifle was the right length to be owned by someone of his age and type. And that the judge threw that out because it was a charge that it was not a correct charge. But the media, of course, won't tell you that. The jurors, I kind of believe that there are protesters and they're being very, very loud, and the jurors can hear them. And I think the jury is being intimidated into possibly not acquitting if the facts prove to them that he should be acquitted. Now, I'm willing to wait for the jury to decide one way or another, but I don't think that the jury should be
How do you like the
intimidated.
fact that how many people did he kill?
Two
and
killed,
wounded
and
one.
one he took his arm off.
One he and do you notice they're all Jewish?
The names are, but I don't think they are.
Oh, the names are, but you don't think they are.
Well, people could have German
When I
names.
hear names like, I don't know what the names are, but when you hear a name like Rosenbaum, you pretty much assume.
Yeah, but Greiskritz and so forth. But maybe there are a lot of stupid Jews that want to go out and protest
geez,
in the street
Phil. Oh,
because they're left-wing Jews.
you're not a stupid human being. Why do you act like one?
Well, look, these people are out there burning down their city. Is that a demonstration of intelligence?
Does that give him the right to come from another state?
Well, the state is 20 miles away, and his father lives in Kenosha, and his mother lives in Illinois, Angora, I don't know. But anyway, it's 20 miles away. So he lives with his mother. He was storing the AK or the AR-15 in Wisconsin, so he didn't take it over state line. But on the other hand,
why did he store it there?
I don't think he was allowed to own it under Illinois law.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So, what the issue is you've been in protests. I've been in protests. I did some photojournalism when they had the Occupy movement in Oakland, but I went there at 7:00 in the morning when everybody was sleeping. I wasn't there when they were throwing rocks and hitting each other with baseball bats, like 7, 8 o'clock at night. I was there at 7 in the morning, and they were all sleeping it off. But I was taking pictures, and I don't insert myself in those kinds of situations. If you know it's not going to be a healthy place to be, you stay the hell out. I mean,
So what are you saying? Rittenhouse is guilty?
No, I'm saying if he's guilty of anything, he's guilty.
Are you trying to excuse his actions?
No. What I'm saying is if he's guilty of anything, he's guilty of being a stupid idiot. And
he's guilty of shooting and killing 2 people and injuring another.
Have you ever heard of the self-defense?
That argument only goes so far. Well, I don't think you can claim self-defense when you went somewhere where there's trouble to begin with.
Well,
and then all of a sudden somebody's like, coming up to you and threatening you in some way or shouting at you, and you think that's threatening you?
Or hitting you over the head with a skateboard twice, or trying to grab your gun, or saying, I'm going to cranium this guy. Or, there was...
but who said they said that?
I think they had it on tape.
No, I think Rittenhouse has said it.
He did say it,
yes.
But there was other things on tape. And even the guy he shot that lived said that he had pointed his gun at Rittenhouse. If you haven't watched,
you always have the option of doing something in that kind of situation, running in the opposite direction.
He did.
It's a little. Well, then what?
They have it on video.
He ran did. And what? Yeah. After shooting?
No. Well, wait a minute.
Yeah. What?
I can't remember if it was before or after the shooting.
I'm sure it was after, but I mean the thing is, I believe in a martial art thing I was taught years ago that I always use whenever I'm in a dangerous situation. It's called run fu.
Oh, not plead for your life.
That too. If worse comes to worse,
I don't know what happened there, but there were aggressors. I'm telling you, I stay away from these kinds of things, and because if you know that it's going to be a problem, you stay away. But there were no cops. But it wasn't Rittenhouse's place to enforce the law.
It wasn't Rittenhouse's place to go out of his way by coming from another state to go to a demonstration.
Yeah, it's like going from White Plains to...
I don't care if you had to make a concerted effort to go to this place to get in on this demonstration, and when you went there, I think that he was ready for action.
Well, that's what you think. But on the other hand, he was stupid for going there in the first place. That I grant.
The guy killed 2 people, Phil.
He protected himself. He protected himself.
Do you really believe that?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
But, we'll see if the jury believes it. I wasn't sitting there through all those hours of testimony, and I didn't see all the facts and all the videos and hear all the witnesses. But those jurors did. And, I do know that it appeared that the prosecution was inept, that their ability to make this case was...
Didn't the judge argue against the prosecution at one point? He took them to task for something.
Well, they made some motions, and he denied those motions, and they introduced some things that he said not to bring up, and he chastised them for that. He also chastised them for exercising his right to remain silent, and so the prosecution said, "Well, you must be guilty because you didn't say anything." And but we have a constitutional right against self-incrimination and a right to remain silent, and he did. I mean, the guy was a good witness for a 17, 18-year-old kid. I was certainly impressed by his ability to not lose his cool and to
cry on cue. To cry on cue.
Well, I don't know if it was crying on cue, but it's very easy to be emotional at that.
It's funny they show the Rittenhouse. They show the Rittenhouse trial, and he goes into his bubbling, crying jag that he went through, which I'm sure his lawyer cued him to do. And then you go to that trial down in I can't remember where it is, where these 2 guys. Well, this one guy shot a black guy, and 2 other people were the accomplices to
Avery in Georgia.
Yeah, Avery.
Aubrey.
Aubrey. Anyway, that situation, The guy got up on the stand. The guy's been charged with the murder. He decided to get on the stand, and he started crying. Okay.
Well, I got a feeling that
It's the
guy
new-
is a white supremacist.
You
But,
get a feeling
you know,
he is. Yeah.
But if guys are sensitive, they say it's phony. Look at Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh shed a few tears during his when he was being accused. What's wrong with showing some emotion?
The only thing it takes for a white guy to get away with something is to start crying. I think that was a line from Saturday Night Live this weekend.
Yeah, well, of course,
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people are following this, and do I think
I'm not.
Well, I know you don't watch the news, but I don't think Rittenhouse is the smartest guy in the world. I think that he put himself in a position that he shouldn't have. But on the other hand, if you're in that position, do you have a right to defend yourself?
Hasn't he been seen hanging out with like white supremacists and things like that too? Some podcast that he was on.
Well, I'm not 1,000% sure that isn't a fabrication, but
No, of course, if it doesn't agree with you, it's got to be a fabrication, right?
Of course,
Phil?
fake news.
Of course.
Fake
Fake news.
You know what this is done? This is done. Watching this trial, I keep thinking of myself. I've been part of a.
Oh, it all comes down to you, doesn't it, Phil?
It sure does.
Yeah.
I can see myself sitting in Rittenhouse's chair, because I'm armed and I am there providing safety to a synagogue that. Chabad that I help, and it's in Berkeley, and there's a lot of crazy people around Berkeley. I had some
Okay,
contact.
but that's a different situation, Phil.
Oh, but I could end up shooting somebody, and I could end up in the same seat that he is.
Would you think twice before shooting them?
It depends. I could make the decision based on the events that are happening. So if myself or someone else was in imminent danger of bodily harm, I wouldn't hesitate. And I would do what would be necessary to stop the threat. Not necessarily do I want to kill anyone, but I want to stop the threat. That is the words that Rittenhouse used as well, but that is the law. You don't want to just kill somebody. You're not there to be a vigilante.
Well, the laws are not meant, however, to protect people from carrying a gun and then using it and then claiming self-defense as their excuse.
But that's, he could have said that he was mentally deranged, and but he's using a defense of self-defense, and it'll be up to the jury to decide whether they believe him or not. It's not up to me. I wasn't sitting there, but I do have pause, even if I'm dead to rights correct, and I save a whole synagogue of people from being shot up by some crazed guy, like happened in Texas. Even if I do that, I'm going to be sued. I'm going to be charged initially criminally until they can sort things out, and I'm going to be in a position. I have insurance for this. It's called USCCA. So I have unlimited defense insurance, and I have $250,000 in bail insurance, and I can pick the attorney of my choice. But I never want to be in that position. So I thought about it, and I said, I really don't have any levels of defense when I'm doing this between fisticuffs and a gun. So I'm going to buy a taser. And I did buy a body cam, so that if something came down, I had everything on video. But I'm going to get a taser. If I'm in a position where
I certainly see that as a better option than a gun.
Well, it's one step. You see, as a police officer, you might have to go directly to deadly force. I mean, if you're met with deadly force, you don't pull out your taser. But if there's a way,
at least if there are women around.
What do you mean?
You don't pull out your taser if you're.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh,
yeah. Well, most tasers are yellow, and wouldn't match the complexion. But anyway, As I watch this trial, I begin to question: do I really want to be in that position? Do I want to continue doing what I'm doing at the Chabads? I think it's a good thing to do, and they appreciate it, and I think it's a mitzvah on my part. But on the other hand, I can't see myself going through what this kid's going through right now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think he caused it himself.
Well, he
himself. Whether he's right or wrong, whether he's innocent or guilty, forget that question for a second. I think the kid was just stupid.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, you can't prosecute him for being stupid. Well,
you can prosecute him for the actions he takes while being stupid.
That's correct.
Yeah,
that's correct. Now, there was a guy in Florida, Zimmerman, another Jew, or at least a Jewish name, and he chased down some kid, and they grappled over a gun, and then it's the same thing. He inserted himself into that situation.
Something I got to tell you. Years ago, there was a guy named Bernie Getz.
Yes, he rented your apartment.
He rented my apartment. He went down from my apartment. I wasn't living there anymore, but he left that apartment.
He went to the subway,
and
right?
He went to the subway, and then he shot up some kids.
Why? Because a kid pulled a screwdriver on him and was going to stab him. Now, Bernie Getz had a gun, and I don't think it was legally possessed, and he shot him. Now, I remember in New York...
Wait a minute, hold on a second. Why did he go down to that subway? Because he wanted to catch a subway ride? Bernie Getz was looking for trouble that night.
Well,
he was looking for a reason to use that gun.
Maybe.
Okay. So, I mean, if you assume that maybe that's a possibility... there are a lot of people like that who say, "Oh, well, I don't mean any trouble, but I'm taking my gun with me," and they can hardly wait to use it.
Well, that surmises their state of mind, and we don't know what that is. So, I carry a gun, not all the time, but if I feel I'm going into an
By the
area...
way, he did say that Getz asserted that they had a screwdriver.
Correct.
The other three people that were with this guy said he didn't.
Yeah, of course, they were his friends.
Well, I mean, who are you going to believe? Are you going to believe Bernie Getz?
Why not?
Necessarily? Why? Because he's white?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, at least you admit it, Phil.
No, because he was protecting himself. I mean, everything comes down to race. We see this tribalism that comes from the left, that if you don't agree, then therefore you're wrong and you should be punished for it. And everything, they pull the race card.
I'm to the left, and I don't feel that way.
Oh, that's why we're friends. But, if you
Not much longer.
Why? You're did you get a death sentence?
No.
All right. So, you see what's going on in Kenosha right now. You see the intimidation, and that's this kid killed two white people, probably Jewish. He wounded another white person. Now they're saying they're making it a race thing because the original riot was over a race, a black kid being killed by, was it a cop? So that's why there were riots originally. But they're taking this further and saying that what Rittenhouse did is a racial thing, and I don't think it was. I think he was stupid, but I don't think it was racial.
Well, he certainly didn't shoot some black people.
Oh, you imagine if he did?
No, but I'm saying he didn't.
No,
but he did probably shoot a couple of Jews.
Yeah, and one of them was a rapist. The other one
was a rapist.
Yeah, a child molester, and he had domestic abuse, and I believe it was rape, but he was a child molester. I
haven't heard that.
But then again,
I must be wrong. I haven't paid enough attention to this thing that I can refute that, but
they were
I'll bet you I got callers that can refute it.
Okay, they were both felons, and one of them supposedly went after 8 to 11-year-old boys. I mean, these guys are not nice guys. One of the guys had taken off his ankle bracelet because he was under house arrest. He was a felon, and he was in possession of a gun. And this is one of the guys that he shot and killed. So, they weren't very nice guys. I doubt they were Jewish, because Jewish people don't have a record unless you're Bernie Madoff.
Wait, but Jewish people don't carry guns. Oh, wait a minute, Phil. I forgot you're Jewish.
Yeah. So I was born that way. But, it's they want to defund the police. They want to take away your ability to defend yourself. And most of the gun crime is in cities that don't allow guns. The highest murder rates, the highest gun crime is all in Chicago, New York.
Well, let me ask you one other question. If something that's in the news, this guy Gosar, who's a congressman, who sent out a picture of him decapitating AOC.
I didn't see that. But
today he is like only about the 16th person in the history of the Congress to be censured.
Well, that's good.
And by the way, this may amaze you or not amaze you, he's a Republican.
Yeah, Sarah Silverman, had a decapitated head of Donald Trump.
Do you know something?
I know that she's not.
Everybody, go out and get yourself a drink.
What? It wasn't Sarah Silverman?
No, it wasn't.
Which one was it? Which
it was that what's her name? I never liked her. The woman who took over for Joan Rivers when Joan Rivers died. I'm trying to remember her name now, but no, it wasn't Sarah Silverman.
Well, it was like her.
No, it was. Phil, you're wrong. You're
gotta
wrong.
Blame the Jew. Blame the Jew.
It wasn't Sarah Silverman. God damn it! Hey, listen, will you stick around?
Yeah, sure.
Let's bring some of these other people in. First, let's get rid of your name under your picture, because everybody now knows who you are and they can come get you. Let me see here, and we have some people entering. Who is Jerry D? I don't know who Jerry D is. Wait a minute, Jerry, would you let us see your full face there? Your camera's a little off. There. Yeah, there you go. Oh. Well, there's Trucker Steve. Jerry D is there, and Norman Seltzer. Are you there, Norman?
I'm having seltzer.
Norm. Oh, there's Jerry D. Yes, I recognize you, Jerry. You've called the show before, haven't you? You've called the show, haven't you? Yeah, we hear you.
Muted. No, he's not muted.
Can you hear us, Jerry?
I'm right here.
Okay, there you go. And Norman Seltzer, are you there, Norman? If I don't hear your voice soon, I'm going to get rid of you. Well, you got rid of yourself. Okay, fine.
Wait, you can't hear me?
No, I can hear you, Jerry. It was this Norman that was over there that I was suspicious of. And hello to Kevin. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Alex. It was Kathy Griffin.
It was Kathy Griffin. Right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely
Did you get that
correct.
part? I don't know. It's kind of delayed.
Yeah.
Not a Jew.
I think Kathy
Phil,
Griffin.
Phil, you ignorant slut.
Hey, Kevin.
Have you heard anything in this thing with the Rittenhouse thing that one of the guys was a child molester or whatever? I don't know.
No, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah. I don't believe anything Phil says because he gets it wrong. I mean, Sarah Silverman, she held the decapitated head of the president.
Griffin, whatever. They all look alike, those comedians.
They're all the same.
Yeah. So.
And by the way, Kathy Griffin hasn't worked since.
No, she's popped her head up a few times, but hasn't done much since.
Yeah. I mean, she profusely apologized. In fact, she went on and did the white person ploy of crying.
Yeah.
But have you been watching any of this Rittenhouse trial at all?
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, I think, I don't know. I don't see Phil's justification for it. Obviously, I don't.
What justification, Kevin?
Well, your thing where he was self-defending himself. I don't think he deserved to defend himself because just the fact that he went down there in the first place is not a reason to defend yourself. He went down there. I could see it. I could see self-defense if he was going down there, didn't know anything that was going on, and getting himself a bag of beef jerky or something, and all of a sudden he was, defending himself. But the fact that he went down there and was going to play, cop, I don't think that was a reason for him to be defending himself.
Well, no.
He went down there to play cop, and that was not the reason to have a gun and go down there and start stirring up crap. Right. And then all of a sudden he gets into a situation where he has to defend himself.
Well, let me get this straight. He was going down there because he felt that he wanted to go protect the store owners.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that was not his job.
And that was not his
job. His job was
to
sit at home and watch it on TV if he wanted to do anything.
Yeah, you don't become a vigilante, Phil.
No, that's not his job. He didn't get hired to do that.
Yeah.
And so he has no justification to strap on arms and go down there and then play, I was defending myself. It's not.
Yeah.
And I'm not anti-gun or anything, but that's not the reason you do that.
Well, I think Phil would have to agree as a former cop that you don't.
He said it himself. He wouldn't go down into that situation.
And you don't like people being vigilantes and taking the law into their own hands, which he
Correct.
was planning on doing.
Yeah, and didn't his mother drive him there? Should she be held accountable too?
Well, I'll tell you, she's feeling real guilty about now.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I didn't. Did the verdict come through? I didn't even know.
No, I don't think so. No.
Anthony Huber was jailed for domestic violence. Joseph Rosenbaum was a pedophile.
You said
this is Snopes. Joseph Rosenbaum was a pedophile. Gage Gruskwitz was arrested and charged with burglary amongst other crimes. And
This is according to Snopes. Now, Snopes usually reports lies.
No,
who are those people?
Those were the victims, supposedly, of Rittenhouse. So
Rittenhouse was a judge?
No, Rittenhouse wasn't a judge.
So let's say for a moment all these allegations against the victims. It's funny, we make the victims even more victims by making them more victims, but
that has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with it. The fact is that just because let's say the guy is a pedophile. Let's just say that. There's no reason to shoot him to death. There's no excuse for shooting him.
Well, that wasn't the reason he shot him. The reason he shot him was the guy was trying to grab his gun. One guy hit him over the head twice with a skateboard, and the other guy aimed his gun at Rittenhouse.
Well, when did they hit him over the head? After he started pointing his gun at people?
He wasn't pointing his gun at people. He was, matter of fact, what they said.
He said. What he said. Please don't say what they said. Oath. What they said.
We'll see. We'll see what the thing. So so Huber was known offender of domestic violence and a rapist. Rosenbaum had sexually abused children, and Grosskreutz.
And where are you getting this from?
Snopes.
But Snopes usually...
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with the price of potatoes in China, Phil. It has nothing to do with it.
So I guess these guys deserve to die then, is what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying...
Then it shouldn't even be brought up.
These guys weren't nice guys.
Who cares?
And neither was Rittenhouse.
Rittenhouse had never been in trouble before. He hadn't abused 8-year-old boys.
Phil, what did you say, Tony?
You know what I was going to say? Phil, Alex, I'm following this story. I was grading my comic books and I listened to this to the radio. And I'm saying to myself, and I see a picture, Alex, if I was your son and you see me, Dad, I'm going out. Where you going? I'm going to that rally in wherever. What's with the AK-47? By the way, can you drive me? Wouldn't you say, where are you going with this gun? Really?
He didn't go to his father.
My mother would have killed me.
Your mother wouldn't have driven you there.
She wouldn't have. See, this is a question though, Phil. The kid is 17, Alex. What good? What if you live in a house with an AK-47? Isn't this the wrong message we're supposed to be saying? And these people think he's a hero. His life was in danger. Really? He was the only people who get that.
That's getting to be. I'll tell you what that's getting to be, the catch-all excuse. I felt I was in danger. In Florida, you can actually pull out a gun and shoot somebody if you feel you're in danger.
No, you can't. But
yes, you can.
Tony,
in Florida, yes, it's the law.
I want you to know that the kid buys American. You said AK-47. That's a Russian weapon.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just using his figure of speech. I didn't know.
He had an AR-15 because he buys American. All right.
And you see his face, Alex, the kid? I think he's a little slow. He looks like he's slow to me. I said, my sister thinks he's on the spectrum, like he's off the grid. Like you can see like his face.
Tony, a lot of people think you are. So, come on.
That's my mother's fault.
Jerry, you haven't said anything. What do you think about all? Have you watched any of this trial?
I have watched some of it. I've heard a lot of newscasts about it. But in my opinion, at that point when Rittenhouse was shooting people, he became the active shooter. Mm. And anybody who was trying to take out an active shooter would try to grab the gun to stop him. Mm-hmm. So if someone's trying to grab the gun, can you obviously, if you're the aggressor and someone tries to grab your gun to stop it, can you shoot them?
Well, if I were at a demonstration, somebody came up, pointed a rifle at me, I think I would try to grab it out of his hand.
Sure.
Because that may be the only.
But the thing is, you can. I think the defense of self-defense is thrown out the door if you are the one who is the agitator causing someone to come after you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So once he's the one, if he's the active shooter and all that, and someone's coming after him to stop him, and he shoots him, say, "Oh, I was acting in self-defense. This person was coming after me." Well, you're the one who caused all this to happen. So I believe that defense should be dropped.
What part of where do you live?
I live in Souderton, Pennsylvania, which is a 45-minute north suburb of Philadelphia.
Okay, because I just want. Sometimes it's good to know where somebody's from to get their take on things, and you know, I it's just a question of. I mean, the guy took a rifle into this situation. He then becomes the aggressor.
Right.
In my opinion.
And plus, I think he had that in mind. I think they're trying to use this as I want to shoot someone, I want to feel what it's like to shoot somebody, and then use it as a defense to try to get off.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not exactly sure if it's true or not, hearing that his statement saying those people look like looters, I'd love to shoot them. But the question is, if they're looters, did they have anything in their hand? Or are they stealing anything? Is that a looter?
Yeah, good. Phil?
You cannot shoot someone over chattel or property.
What is chattel?
Chattel is
that's a Jewish cow.
Yeah, right. It's that's the way the law is written. So what happens is you can only, if you're in imminent danger of bodily harm, or someone else is, you have the right to use deadly force, but it has to be inescapable, and it also has to be immediate. So if you don't have a way of retreating, it's murder at that point. But and according to the testimony I heard, they were saying that he had nowhere to run; he was pinned in. But if somebody,
you always say to us, from what I heard and where I heard, but you're listening to sources that are parsing this thing.
Well, aren't you?
No.
Well, no, you don't listen to any sources.
No, I'm just believing everything you say because I didn't watch it.
Well, that's about time.
Did you hear any of this, Kevin, about this guy being a pedophile and the other one beating his wife and the other?
No, I didn't hear any of that.
Of course not on MSNBC.
I don't watch MSNBC.
Oh, you communist.
So Phil thinks it's okay for him to shoot him because these people were these bad people. But at the time when he shot them, they weren't wearing.
But he didn't know that fact, by the way, when he shot them.
They were not wearing sandwich boards saying, "I'm a pedophile."
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Let Jerry say what he was saying.
All right.
Yeah. So what you're saying is he didn't know these guys had any background like that. That wasn't the reason he shot them.
Right. He shot him to protect his life.
Yeah.
because he felt he was in imminent danger of bodily harm.
That bullshit has got to stop already.
You can't. I was just answering before. You cannot.
That was used by Zimmerman in Florida. It gets used all the time now. I was in imminent danger. Okay, I guess I'm going to go down on the street right now in my neighborhood, which is basically, well, shall we say, it's now a fairly nice neighborhood, but it used to be, Harlem used to be quite dangerous to go into late at night. But I could go down there and just shoot the first person that comes along and say I felt I was in danger.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Trump said on Fifth Avenue.
He probably was right too.
Yeah,
being used in the Aubrey trial in Georgia as well right now.
Yeah, they're using the same thing.
Well, all I was saying earlier was that you can't shoot anybody over property. Now, the kid Rittenhouse was invited by the car sales place to be there and sort of run some sort of security. As far
Wait a minute. The kid is how old? The kid is how old?
He's 17.
He's 17, and they're going to hire him to do security?
He
I would
wasn't.
hire him to pack my comic books.
Look, he wasn't hired. What he
He'd
was.
bend him when the guy
Trucker Steve is showing us his trucker belly.
Yeah, well, Trucker Steve's looking good. He's looking healthy.
He is. He's got color in his face.
How you feeling, Steve? Feeling good? Yeah.
Well, hey, and Tony has to stop using my wallpaper. But anyway, some people think that they can protect property, and you really can't. Not to the point of deadly force.
No. The deadly force thing only goes that you feel your own person is in jeopardy,
or someone else.
But there are some criteria, aren't they, for defending yourself and feeling that you are in imminent danger? You can't just say you were in imminent danger.
It has to be immediate and inescapable. There's they call it the three-legged stool. So imminent and
well, that must be hard to flush down a toilet.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Get the plunger out, Ma.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's enema time.
Hey, Brian.
She took such big poops.
Phil's at his best tonight.
I'm trying to get some work done here for a secret India project, and Phil's just killing me.
Can't concentrate, huh, Brian?
Classic Phil. Classic Phil.
Classic Phil. Yeah. Yeah.
I was already.
This is the Monday
I had
show.
to go to water because the vodka was killing me. I had to go to water. I was drinking so much from Phil's talk.
Really?
The whole Sarah Silverman thing. I fell back in my chair and bumped my head on the floor.
Well, so I blame the Jew. But it was actually the Irishman.
Well, I think it's amazing, Phil, that you got that Sarah Silverman thing all wrong.
Hey, so you're in imminent danger of bodily harm. You better pull out your weapon. What can I tell you?
That kid was a punk kid. Stupid as hell, wanting to, think he's a cop, and like I put in the chat right when you started saying, it doesn't matter if those guys were murderers. He didn't know who they were when they shot him.
No, and he didn't, and I didn't say he shot him because.
So what if they were good, loving church people that were pastors?
Then they wouldn't have
make it worse.
Then they wouldn't have been there. But the thing is,
because everybody that goes to a demonstration is a rapist, right?
Well, all I was saying was these guys weren't the nicest guys in the world, and those.
That doesn't excuse to begin with. No, wait a minute. He didn't know their bona fide before he shot them. Okay.
I'm not saying that was the causation of them being shot.
You're listing it. You're actually listing it as a justification for killing.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't.
Hey, look.
Yeah.
If a guy's a bad guy and he's gonna be up to no good and doing nefarious deeds.
Phil, hold on a second.
They weren't raping people. They weren't raping people when he shot them. They weren't being raped. They weren't raping kids.
Wait a minute, Phil. Just because somebody is a pedophile, doesn't mean that they're aggressive towards other people. No. You're saying that because he was a pedophile, he was a dangerous person. Well, he wasn't. He was a pedophile.
He wasn't a good guy. And sometimes people who would do these other kinds of crimes would do harm to others, and Rittenhouse happened to
Oh
be
God,
in the wrong
Phil,
place
I'm
at the
trying
wrong
to.
time.
Can't you listen to what we're saying? These
Yeah,
things
you're
have
trying to
nothing.
put words in my
This has nothing to do with the fact that these lives
Right.
were taken. I don't know that pedophile is a capital of crime, but Rittenhouse made it a capital crime. I don't know if beating your wife is a capital crime, but Rittenhouse made it a capital crime.
Well, we'll see if it was actually self-defense. I mean, the jury's still out. They've been
What
out
does the
all
jury
day.
know?
Well, that's who
You know,
decides it.
They're 12 people tried and true from Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Well, OJ got freed by the jury,
Oh.
and they said that he was innocent. But
Well, I believe that he was,
yeah,
Phil.
I'm sure.
And I'm
you
going to
do.
start using your logic against you.
Well,
Okay.
because the server.
And by the way, OJ never was a pedophile. Okay.
that we know of.
OJ made many people laugh on the Naked Gun series.
Yes, we all loved him. He had
The
certain
Hertz
certain
commercial.
value to America.
Look what happened to the Hertz company.
You mean-
To the Hertz
You can
company?
look
I mean, the
at
car company?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're out of business.
Yeah,
As
but
a-
what about the Broncos? The white Broncos were going sale crazy money right when that happened.
Wait a minute.
I want
Wait a
the
minute. Let
white
me ask you a
Bronco, the black
question.
guy.
Hertz, I thought Hertz went out of business a year ago or something.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. So that's no big news.
I ordered a Bronco.
Which is
Really? I can see him driving it when they pull him over.
Did you
It's
order?
AC Cowlings. Oh no, it's a white guy.
They said it could take up to a year to get.
Really?
Oh, can I tell you a funny story? You're gonna laugh at me when I tell you this. So our mini fridge goes bad, or at least what I think is a mini fridge, and so I order one from PC Richards, and it's like $188. I go, whoop-de-doo, it's great.
It delivered too.
And they deliver it, and they haul away the old one, which is the main thing. And so they bring it over, and it's like half the size of the one we had.
Oh no!
What I ordered was a mini fridge. What I should have ordered was a half fridge
He must have left when he took it out.
or beverage cooler. Okay, because the beverage coolers are bigger.
Yeah.
So I just ordered that for $600 today. And
I've been ordering
Marjorie is joining me in buying it, and then we're going to take that little small one and put it under a desk here and use it in the office.
Will it blow all the fuses?
No, I don't think so. Those things don't eat up much electricity. I don't think. Yeah, it's just they constantly use electricity. So
I just want to say that some people were putting words in my mouth. I didn't say that it was okay to kill these guys because they were bad guys. I said it just so happens sometimes you come across.
well, what you're trying to do
bad
is you're trying to
people.
denigrate the victims.
No, they're not the victims.
And
I
you're
thought
using
they were
that
the
to
aggressors.
try and defend the guy, and you shouldn't.
Yeah, as far as
Okay.
I could see, they weren't the victims. They were the aggressors, and Rittenhouse was the victim, and he had to defend himself. If he's in fact not convicted because of self-defense, then I'm right, and you guys can take a drink.
Well, no, I'm not saying that he isn't going to be found not guilty. I'm not going to say that at all. What is that you brought in there? Your dog?
It's like
Is that the doggy, Steve?
Oh.
Oh no, it was food.
He's eating the dog.
a French curler.
He's eating the dog.
Just take a chunk out of his leg.
Tasty little chihuahua.
Oh boy, I'm telling you. So anyway, I mean, I think there's a good chance he's gonna skate. I think there's a very good chance he's gonna skate.
Is that not guilty?
It's not guilty. Yeah. And I mean, I wasn't there, so I can't judge what's right, what's wrong. But from what I hear, the fact that he had a rifle and he came over state lines to get to this event, and that he went down there and then he pointed this rifle at people, seems to intimate to me a certain amount of guilt. Okay.
Yeah, what about the video after him when he saw the National Guard or whoever go by? Remember? And he was like cheering him on, and those guys were cheering him on too. It's like,
Yeah.
Not before or after he shot them.
Oh,
No, they were cheering him after he shot these guys.
yeah, after.
Yeah.
They knew he shot him. He was trying to make his way
No,
to the police
they didn't know he shot him.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was trying to make his way to the police station.
Look, the fact of the matter is, Phil, guy has a rifle, goes into a situation. After it's over, 2 people are dead, 1 is wounded.
It's a shame.
I think he's guilty of something. Okay?
We'll see.
What do you mean we'll see? We'll see if a jury finds him guilty.
He
I'm
should
talking
get
about
something.
whether he's guilty or not morally.
Well, one of the guys he shot that lived said that he pointed his gun at Rittenhouse. You know, I mean, if somebody points a gun at me and says he's going to kill me, I'm not going to hesitate.
You didn't say he said he was going to kill you. You just said that he pointed his gun at Rittenhouse.
No, but Rittenhouse
By the way, somebody brought this up, and it's a good one. Matt Crash on our little.
Is he still alive?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're the same birth.
All of a sudden, Phil believes in mere accusations. Remember when all he did to defend Kavanaugh? By saying those were mere accusations?
That's not what I said tonight. What I said was I heard some testimony, but I wasn't there. I didn't see all the evidence. And
I think you were there and handed him the gun.
Yeah, and I'm
Use
waiting
mine.
for what the
No.
jury says.
Here, use mine. Yeah,
The
exactly.
jury is
I
out.
don't. I hope he wouldn't. I don't think. Phil, would you have arrested the guy? He would have. Wouldn't you have said you would have probably arrested the kid? Wouldn't you? If you would have saw him run around with a gun like that.
Not
Yeah.
necessarily.
Well, you know something? You know something? Maybe.
I run this guy in.
Certain
Does
states
anybody?
have
Okay,
freedom.
Phil. Enough. Just a moment. The question is, when a jury goes out and they stay out as long as they have now, it's been several days. Is there a chance they're going to come back with a guilty verdict or a not guilty verdict?
There's 2 possibilities. One is they will come back either with a guilty or a non-guilty verdict, or the catering service is really good and these guys don't want to go home.
Yeah,
I think they did.
No, I thought you were going to say there are 2 possibilities: guilty or not guilty.
Yeah.
You worry about the.
I lumped them into one.
They might have a good hotel too, Phil. You never know.
And Phil, your buddy with the horns got what? 40 months? 40
No,
months? in
3
prison?
years.
Yeah.
3
Oh,
years.
really?
3
Okay.
years.
You and
40
I.
months.
He got 4 years, right?
3 years.
41 months.
Oh,
41 months.
All right, so he'll be out in 2 years with good behavior.
Yeah, with his horns.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna get a horn in his ass in prison.
I was so happy that they gave him that time in jail.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
deserved it.
yeah, he deserved it because he's getting there, sitting there at the table, and he's
Yeah,
doing the whole
remember that?
thing. Yeah.
All that stupid
You know.
makeup. I look like a football fan. Like, come on.
You should force him to eat non-organic food.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. He went on a what Jerry? What did he do? He went on a fast or something, right? He wasn't gonna eat until they brought organic food in.
Yeah, he I guess he's a mommy's boy, but yeah, he was having a hissy fit because of he wanted organic food.
I like
Yeah.
organic food.
Yeah, and then his lawyer said that he got offered a trip to London or something and didn't think he should be sentenced and all that crap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once in a lifetime trip to London. I don't think he should be sentenced.
Wait a minute. I like organic food. And I
think they should send him ground beef every night.
Yeah. You know what I learned about organic food?
What?
That if let's say you buy an avocado, the avocado has those little stick-on labels, and the number, it's like a 5-digit number, and it starts with a 9. That's organic. If it starts with a 5 or a 4, it's not. So you can tell whether
Mine
or
didn't
not,
have any stickers on it at all.
why because you.
I don't know. I buy the non-stickered versions.
No, they all have stickers.
No,
They all-
this one, these didn't have, I bought them today. They didn't have any stickers on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you got stuck.
It's something like that. But they had no stickers on them, so, you know.
Look a little further, but that's one. You look at apples. Like I said,
Speaking
I
of
like
Apple, can I bring this up? You know that whole thing that had happened at, what was it, Astro World in Houston? That concert by Kylie Jenner's boyfriend, or Daddy. What do they call him? Daddy something or another.
Maybe his daddy.
Anyway, he was given a concert, and of course, a bunch of people came in. And one thing led to another, and people were trampled to death. 10 of them. The latest one is a 7-year-old kid, 5-year-old kid, something like that.
Yeah.
Now you've been on.
What the heck is he doing at a concert during the week?
I wondered about that, but here's the story. Here's the thing that is big. So there are suits being filed that now total close to $1 billion.
Wow.
Against Live Nation as
Against
well.
Live Nation, but who else?
The entertainers.
No. Oh, the entertainer, of course,
Yeah.
is being charged.
I don't know anybody else.
Being sued. The other party in the whole deal, Apple.
Really?
Yes, Apple was the producer of the concert or something, or had something to do with the concert, was a co-promoter or something. And so Apple is being sued too, because guess who's got deep pockets?
Yeah. Apple.
Yeah. So,
Jeez.
Well, now, let me ask you this, Alex. You've been on stage. Have you ever been on a stage with 50,000 or 100,000 people?
I've been on a stage with 11,000 people.
Yeah, I know when you were doing those things, but for instance, were you anywhere near the stage at Woodstock, for instance?
I was backstage.
Yes. Can you hear what was going on in the crowd?
Let me tell you this now. The times have changed from then, okay? Because what happens now, these guys go on stage and they have earphones that completely cover their ears so they can hear the band.
Right.
Okay, so that they're isolated. So those earphones do not allow them to hear anything that's going on around them. Secondly, I don't know if you've ever been on a stage in your life, but when you're standing on stage, there is no audience out there. And the reason there's no audience out there, you can't see them because the spotlight is on you and it's shining in your eyes. And you ever notice sometimes when they go, "So how's the audience out there?" and they do this, it's so they can see somebody. So when he says, "I didn't know what was going on," even the cops at the front of the stage, the security cops, 25 minutes in didn't seem to be fazed by anything. So they weren't even aware of it. So I don't think there's any way on stage that he was aware of it.
Well, yeah, that's what I was asking. You've experienced those kinds of semi those kinds of crowds, and that you would best know what's going on. I mean,
if indeed he's using that as his excuse, it's a pretty good excuse. There was some woman who came up close to him on stage, off to the side of the stage, yelling, "Stop the concert! There are people dying out there." And he just kept going, and they act like he was oblivious to it. Well, of course he was oblivious to it. He couldn't hear her, okay? He couldn't probably see her. I think probably of all the people that are guilty here, he is the least guilty.
Yeah. I shoot from the pit at a number of rock concerts. But the venues that I shoot in maybe only have 1,000, 1,500 people. And even when you're shooting from the pit, because sometimes I'll shoot into the crowd to get some crowd reaction shots, and
very difficult to see from up there.
Yeah, very
because you got all these lights pointed at you. Yeah. So
and these concerts and raves, what they do also for security reasons is they have those alleys where they sort of have it fenced off. So like the center, you see, like later you can see those pictures. They separate the center and they separate, so they're in like sections where the crowds are. But with his music, everybody's jumping up and down. It's almost like dubstep, or they're going crazy. So even security who's looking at the crowds, I think it was probably difficult for them to see. But they said they're dead like 5 songs ago.
Yeah,
that's a long time.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think he oh, here we go. Jeff's got to find out how to. Jeff. If in doubt,
Jeff, off. My God,
Jeff assassinates himself visually.
Well, he was in Kenosha.
So listen, we don't hear from Philadelphia that often. And by the way, my wife is from
Eagles.
Philadelphia.
Go Eagles.
Huh?
I said, go Eagles.
Go Eagles.
Eagles fan, Jerry?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Good.
We can do better, but yeah.
Yeah, even though we suck, we can team up on Charlie. Charlie's a Dallas Cowboy fan. So
45 minutes
Yeah,
north.
my only concern is I'm going to do better than Dallas. That's all I want to hear.
Yeah.
45 minutes north. Are you close to New Jersey or
Yes, it's
like Cherry
I'm
Hill?
about 15, 20 minutes from Jersey.
But luckily, he's not in New Jersey. So it's, you know,
Armpit America.
It's still under Democratic rule.
barely. But anyway, Jerry, so you live where exactly? Not in Philadelphia proper, right?
No, about 45 minutes north of Philly,
Yeah.
out northwest.
Okay. Because I was just wondering what's going on in Pennsylvania that maybe we don't know about some piece of news that's very big down there, but we don't get it up here. Anything?
Well, I haven't been really paying attention to a lot of news because I got 3 young kids. I take up most of my time, and both my wife and I work from home now because of the COVID.
Yeah.
Office is closing, so I basically just I'm looking through a tunnel.
Yeah, I'm
So I
in a
am.
tunnel too. Well, what it is that I've just gotten to the point where I can't watch those channels because it's just the same thing all the time. You know, it's the same stories, and it depends on which one you watch as to who they're going after. You know, over at MSNBC, Biden can do no wrong. Over at Fox, he hasn't done anything right yet. You know, well, how is that news reporting when you can predict what they're going to say is news? You know, they just reported it, but they don't. They don't. Why do you keep changing your background, Phil?
I got tired of Tony's background.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't blame him. The wallpaper. It's kind
Because
of.
I could change mine, but I'm not going to. So.
Yeah,
I have to get going, guys. Sorry, I gotta go pick up my son. So
you got places to
You've
go.
been busy lately, haven't you?
yeah, I'm like it's just crazy right now. Everything's starting to get the buildings released all at once, and I'm being stretched too much. So, and then I got kids too. So.
Yeah, well, we love it when you're
And
here.
he's got his nice fancy car to drive too.
Yeah, so the good thing is, so my son, he's going to this group thing tonight with his friends.
Mhm.
And so I busted out the McLaren. He goes, "We're going to go in this," because he hates me driving the McLaren to drop him off or pick him up. So I'm going to go pick him up in the McLaren again. So, because all the kids love it.
You're
He
doing it
hates
just to piss your kid off, right?
He hates the attention.
What does he hate? Oh, well, he hates because the car gets attention, right?
Yeah, he wants to be low key. Yeah, so I'm not like that.
That's my dad. That's my dad. Don't pay any attention to him.
And then I rev it up a couple times. I told him, I say, you better be out there at 9 o'clock, or I'm going to start honking and revving up the car. So.
Well, we appreciate it anytime you call, Brian.
Yeah, because I know you're threatening to leave again, so I wanted to make sure I came up. Okay, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Everybody say goodbye to
Good night.
Brian.
Night, Brian.
Yeah. I decided not to do Tuesday nights anymore because I suddenly realized I was doing 5 nights a week, 5 shows a week again with the Monday show. And so I just quit Tuesdays.
Well, when you posted that, Brian wrote, "Thanks, Phil." You know, like it was my fault you're not doing Tuesdays. And I said you were just trying to, that's one way that they silence the right wing on Tuesdays is to eliminate the show. But
I think Brian, if I remember correctly, Brian called Monday show. Monday show gets a lot of viewership. A lot of viewership. I don't know why. I think why is it's just a really nice show. You know? It's just very peaceful and chatty and fun, you know. And I think last week, I think Shecky mentioned after the show, he said, we didn't mention politics once in the whole hour.
You know, I had mentioned a long time ago you should have a Trump-free zone. And you know, it was the low-hanging fruit. You didn't want to go for that. But, you know.
You have to tell Trump that.
Early on, I said, you know, hey, why don't you just have a Trump-free zone? And, you know, now you wish.
Well, we do have a Trump-free zone now, thank God.
Yeah.
Do you think, I'm just going to ask you this because you're the Trump fan. If he were here right now, you'd suck his dick. Do you really think he's going to get nominated in 2024?
No, he's done.
See, I thought so too. Wow,
Really?
we agree on something about Trump.
Yeah. No, he's done. I think that he's still a kingmaker, and he still has a lot of influence as to the direction of the Republican Party. But as far as him getting another shot at running for president, I don't think is going to happen.
Even with the way the party's going right now, Phil.
Yeah, I'm surprised he said it.
Yeah, even with the way the party's going, things are looking up. I think
They're all still all over him, and he still has all that influence on. He has that influence on them, but I don't know. I'm not so sure about that.
I think you have to kind of pay him his homage in public, but in private, I don't think he has anywhere near the support. I don't think he ever has.
Look what he's doing, though. But look what he's doing. I mean, these people are scared shitless of the guy, and he sits there and look what he's doing right now. I mean, look at what happened today to Gosar, and all that crap that these people wouldn't even vote against the guy, and now they're all trashing each other because of what he did to the infrastructure bill. They're going after people because of an infrastructure bill, but they're not going after them because...
Kevin, it's strictly saber rattling.
They're scared shitless of him.
No, it's saber rattling, and what they're doing is they're placating to him verbally, but in
I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure.
Am I wrong in this? Maybe that they're afraid of Trump, that he has some kind of hold over the voting public, which he really doesn't have.
No, I think they like the guy in Virginia. He ran a campaign not siding with Trump, even though the opponent tried to put him in Trump's camp.
Yeah.
I think that the way the race was run in Virginia is the way races will be run by the Republicans in the future, and that Trump has a bully pulpit and he has a big voice, but when push comes to shove, I don't think he's going to have the influence that you think he's going to have.
Do you think he's going to make an attempt to get nominated?
I'm not sure. I don't think he likes to lose, and I don't think he can win.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't think he can win the nomination, you're saying?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So who is there in the Republican Party, absent Trump, that you think could run and have a good shot?
Florida's governor
DeSantis.
Oh, and the black guy from South Carolina, Scott. So I think that would be the ticket for me, would be DeSantis Scott.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they're both a disaster.
Well, I think they'd both be a disaster. They would not win.
I think
DeSantis doesn't have the charisma that you need to win. Now,
DeSantis was a Navy SEAL. DeSantis is
so
is
what? Who gives a shit if he was a Navy SEAL?
Beat the band.
Who gives a shit if he was a Navy SEAL?
Well, it takes a lot of
what does that have to do with being president?
So was Jesse Ventura.
So was Jesse Ventura. Exactly.
Right,
it's the leadership. It's the leadership and the effort that you make to follow things through. And he's a proven winner.
What do you mean he's a proven winner? What's he gotten through? He's gotten through. He wound up killing thousands upon thousands of people.
Yeah,
actually, if anything, Florida's got some of the lowest COVID numbers now.
Now, finally. Because the old people who lived there all went out and got the shots.
That's fine. I got the shot. That doesn't mean I'm not a Republican.
By the way, have you gotten your booster yet?
Yes.
Oh, okay. By the way, Trucker Steve, up in Canada, anything happening up there we should know about?
They're all frozen.
British Columbia is literally cut off from the rest of the country because of the major floodings in the mountains there. They've washed out every single highway.
Wow.
Major transportation route to the prairies in Canada. Wow. So all the truckers that are in BC right now are literally trapped there. Unless somehow the Canadian government can negotiate with the U.S. government to allow the Canadian drivers who are delivering freight to another Canadian point to cut through the states.
Wow.
So they can get home.
Yeah, because the Northwest is pretty beat up too.
because all the roads are washed. It's horrible.
Where'd
you
you
watch the news.
Wait, hold on a second. Kevin, who else did you say was having problems?
Northwest Washington. Yeah.
Oh, Northwest Washington. Okay.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I'm not sure. I haven't heard much about Sumas, Washington, which is right near the border.
Yeah.
It's all washed right out. Like,
really?
You know, I once experienced the short-term version of that. I had a job in Carmel, California, and there were these torrential rains, and Highway 1 flooded out, and I couldn't get out of Carmel for 4 days. And so just that, little.
Yeah. So living on espresso for a couple of days has got to be terrible.
I got a hotel.
That was back in the 80s, wasn't it, Phil?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I was driving down there too.
Yeah,
we had to go detour through the fields out there in Pajaro and all that. We had to detour all our routes out there.
Didn't one of the bridges at one point? Didn't one of the bridges on Highway 1 go?
You mean Big Sur?
Big Sur. Yeah.
I think so. They've rebuilt it so many times. I don't know if it's open or not.
Yeah.
No, so Highway 1's open.
Oh, Highway 1's open. Yeah.
Yeah, but it slides all the time.
But I had that feeling of isolation. It was only 4 days. I can imagine what Steve is going through in Canada. But 4 days where you can't get out of where you are.
Wait a minute. Do you live in BC, Steve, or where do you live exactly?
London, Ontario. I'm on the east side.
Yeah.
You're on the east side.
I'm like directly north of Cleveland.
Okay.
Above the other side of the lake.
Oh, okay.
So is that near like Windsor and Detroit?
Yeah, I'm 1 hour. I'm 2 hours from Windsor.
Are they saying that these floods they think are part of the global warming thing? I mean, the whole fact that nature is vomiting on us now.
Well, they had all the fires there in BC this past summer when it got really hot.
Yeah.
And they think that a lot of the ash that settled on the ground is preventing all the water from absorbing into the ground.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of it now, they have mudslides now, and everything is just washing out. I saw video of cliff sides of trees just falling down because the ground is so soft, and everything's just literally crumbling.
Kevin, when I was stuck in Carmel, it was like 94, 95.
Oh, okay. That was a later one.
Yeah,
you do realize that was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember being stuck for 4 days. And
yeah, but I think what we should do in our lives is we should have a cutoff point of stories we tell.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't say a word.
Really, the other day I was saying something to somebody, and then I went, "Oh God, that happened to me 35 years ago."
Right.
It's amazing how fast time goes, and how much life has gone before me. So,
when I meet people I've met people that are 100 years old, and when they're nearing the end of their lives, they start remembering all the stuff from when they were kids, and they remember it as vividly as it happened yesterday. But they can't remember
something that happened yesterday. I'll tell you something else that I was mentioning this to Debbie Durst today. I said, when I suddenly realized something, that every time I go down a set of subway stairs, I hold on to the rail. Okay? Now, there was a time I didn't need to hold on to the rail. I just walk right down the stairs. When did that happen? I'm starting to think, when did I first start holding on to the rail? And now I have to. I can't walk down a flight of stairs without holding on to something to balance.
I don't go on ladders anymore.
We might lose our perception.
I can't get up on the ladder. I couldn't. If you asked me to get up on, say, this table here, many years ago, I used to be able to just hop up on the table. I can't get up there anymore.
You can train yourself in the CrossFit classes I'm taking. They have this thing called a war wagon, and it's like a wheelbarrow, and it's completely covered.
Here we go with him working out again.
With weights.
He's let his body go to rot for the last 40 years, and finally decides to work out. Bravo,
it's
Phil.
this wagon, you got one wheel, you got all this weight, you have to balance it, and it's those kinds of exercises that help you.
I'm just
regain
saying
your
that. I
balance.
think what happens is as you get older, you lose your sense of balance.
I think so,
all
yeah.
the things that help you with balance are going, like your ears, for instance, like I have no trouble with my hearing, but my balance is not as like it used to be. So when I walk down a flight of stairs, I got to hold on to a banister.
Yeah. I think I remember in high school that I could jump down flights of stairs.
Yeah. I'd jump down and I'd jump every other stair. Yeah.
Take every other step.
Coming
right?
down
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
staircase, I could go from one platform to the other just by touching the handrail.
Well, do you agree? Do you agree with me, Jeff? Do you hold on to?
Absolutely. Matter of fact, I take a physical therapist guy that I use.
Yeah.
And he always has me do balance studies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's simple things that you have to stand on a ball.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
just change your legs and stuff like that.
Those half balls.
And then.
But if you hear it go, ouch, you're stepping on the wrong ball.
But you got to always have one hand close.
Well,
because otherwise you're going to go.
Let me ask Tony,
You're
how
gonna
old are
go
you,
over.
Tony? You just hit 50, right?
I'm 52.
52. Okay, Tony, you're 30 years younger than me. Do you have to hold on to a handrail when you go down a flight of stairs?
No, I don't. Actually, I really haven't had, and I'm not sure. I was always pretty athletic, so I always played basketball a lot and football, or mostly basketball. So, like, I was playing 21 with my nephew in the park over here. Mm-hmm. So I could still shoot and all, but you know what I lost? I can't, like, I'm short, but I was able to jump pretty good for my height. So I don't have the same spring because of my knees. I'm old. But I never hurt my knees. So I really haven't had, like, I'm still pretty spry like that. I'm not just saying it. Like, if I worked out, I could still keep up like I was playing with
You're
them.
feeling your age starting to catch up to you, though. Right?
Yeah, my age, like, I can't play full court. I could probably play half.
Now, Kevin, I bet you hold on to the rail, right? Because you've got problems.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All of a sudden, I was walking down the stairs the other day in the subway, and I was grabbing onto the rail, and I was going, when did this first start happening? I don't even remember when I matriculated to that in my life, And you don't do that, do you, Larry? You don't need to yet. We got the name right. Excuse me, Jerry. You don't have to hold onto a rail, do you?
Hey, Alex.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I asked Jerry a question.
He's not muted, but we don't hear him.
Jerry, we can't hear you.
Oh,
there we go. There we go. Yeah.
There.
Do you have to hold on to a rail? How old are you, to begin with? Wait a minute. We just lost
you
again.
He has a bad connection with his earphones, and they.
I don't know. No. Now you're okay.
They're pushed in all the way. The plug.
Yeah, I'm Bluetooth. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
How old are you?
I am 50.
You're 50. So do you find yourself holding on
50.
to a rail when you go downstairs?
I do, but not necessarily because I think I have to, but it's just a habit.
Oh, okay. But you could walk down those steps without feeling uneasy without the rail. Okay. So this is a point in your life where that will happen. I honestly believe it. It's just part of getting older. How about you, Phil? I didn't ask you. Do you hold on to the rail when you're going down a flight of stairs? Phil?
Oh, yes. But do you shuffle now, or do you take big gated steps when you walk?
When I'm doing my walk, I take steady stride, because you're not. If I'm walking for exercise, which I'm doing, you're not going to get exercise by just mincing along.
The reason I ask is that as we age, our IT bands shrink. And when that happens, we don't have the gait that we used to have. And, people even older than, than us, they shuffle. And so little cracks or things in the sidewalk, they'll fall, and then they break their hip, and it's all downhill from there.
Marjorie fell a couple of days ago, and I think she broke a rib or something. because she's in a great deal of pain. I mean, I've got this woman who did more exercises than you can possibly imagine. She was the most exercise person I know. Okay, went to the gym 5 days a week. You know, did all that crap, and she is the biggest. She's falling apart. I mean, every bone in her body is aching, and you know she's got this problem and that problem, and I'm kind of just doing okay. You know,
that's because of her association with Gabnet. Jack falls down, he's in the hospital.
Yes, yes,
you're right. Falls down,
you're right. You're absolutely right. You know. By the way, for people who want to listen to Jack tonight, forget it. He's not
What happened to Jack?
Jack fell down again.
He did?
Yeah. And he wound up in the hospital. He's there tonight. And he'll be let out tomorrow, and he'll probably do a show tomorrow night. But it's, you know, he's had neuropathy over the years because he's had, what do you call it, diabetes. And that caused him neuropathy. I have neuropathy too, but I don't have diabetic neuropathy. So I have peripheral neuropathy. You know, so he's been falling down a lot, and they have to take him to the hospital in the ambulance. So that's where he was last night, and that's where he's going to be tonight. So he should be back again tomorrow night. So I just wanted you people to know that, you know. But,
hey, Steve, Trucker Steve, did you have diabetes? Is that why you had the kidney issues, or was it unrelated?
No, that's unrelated.
No diabetes. Just they just failed.
Yeah, sometimes people's did the kidneys go at any? Was there an idea that they went because they went? What's the word I'm looking for here? Because you were in the truck all the time. The truck caused it.
Well, it could have been the diet, all living on the road, to eat the food I was eating.
Yeah. Okay.
I tried to eat healthy as much as I can, but in a truck, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if
the truck can beat up your kidneys too.
Well, that's what I was thinking. You know, I mean, because,
that's true.
You know, I mean, did you drink enough liquid and things like that?
Yeah, I probably drank too much Gatorade too. That's what I probably did.
Wow.
Too much of that. I haven't had a Gatorade since my diagnosis.
How are you doing getting a kidney?
So far, I've had to get my first two hepatitis shots, one in each arm, and I'm supposed to get 2 more. I think they go in next week or another couple weeks.
Yeah.
And after that, a month later, they'll offer me my 3rd COVID shot.
Yeah.
And then from there should be a few more tests done, and hopefully maybe sometime next year I'll have a kidney. I don't know.
Well, we're all hoping for it for you.
Good luck.
You know, good luck with that. Yeah. Hey, listen, there's the theme. Thank you, Phil, for sticking around. I'm sure a lot of people are happy that you did. Kevin, thank you so much for having dropped by tonight. We appreciate that. Trucker Steve, always good to have you here. Jerry, call us more often. Good to have you here. You know.
I certainly will.
Yeah, please. Tony, don't ever call me again, okay? No, I'm just kidding.
That means I'll call tomorrow just to be paid.
That's how to get you to call. Don't ever call me again, Tony. And Jeff, thank you very much, Jeff. All of you. Would you give a big wave goodbye? And I'll give a big wave goodbye at you. And I'll probably be out of sync when I come back here. Let me see here. Am I out of sync? Who cares? Anyway, thanks everybody. Let me get rid of them. There's no intersection tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So don't stay tuned for that. But we will play an old intersection for you in its place. And we hope that Jack will be back again tomorrow night. In the meantime, I'm all out of here. Yeah. And as always, I like to say, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? And by the way, you know, do us a favor. Wear a mask. And if you don't wear a mask, whatever you do, get vaccinated. Let's get herd immunity. See you later, folks. Bye-bye.